Good morning, television family. It is Friday. Yeah, last day of the work week on this 22nd day of July, 2022. I am Dan Kuntz. I did not invent the Gregorian calendar. Pope Gregory gets credit for that, but I want to thank whoever it was that came up with the idea of putting 2 days together, Saturday and Sunday, where a lot of people don't work, and I'm among them. I mean, think about it. What if it was like Friday, Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday? Nobody wants that. Weekend's almost here. A little breezy, 70 degrees, 48% relative humidity, winds out of the west-northwest at 13 miles an hour. Going to be a little breezy today. We're under the influence of some high pressure, but it's kind of a flat ridge. That's going to allow some marine air to come in over the top. Going to make us a little windy today. Going to make us a little bit cooler as well after our 96-degree day on Thursday. We'll be more like the lower 90s today. Lower 90s on Saturday with the wind dying down. It'll be windy today, tonight, and a little bit on Saturday, but by Saturday afternoon we'll be done with the wind. And then starting Sunday, we're going to cook. By far the hottest temperatures of the year. Going to be a scorcher. Details are on the way. News, we'll check that box. Busy day yesterday, going to be a busy day today. Grant's taking the day off. Jefferson Robbins, by the way, will be in the anchor chair tonight at 5 o'clock. Mariners begin their second half of their campaign with a sellout tonight with the Astros coming to town, and the Apple Sox just keep on winning. Yeah, they swept them. Talk about that. And in the back half of the hour, Thad Duvall, the Douglas County auditor, even though we aired Thad Duvall's interview with me on Monday, he asked me, he said, can you air this a couple of times? Because it's really important that the information that the Douglas County voters need to know. As you know, in Douglas County, it's kind of a piecemeal thing because of the redistricting after the census. People in Douglas County are going, wait a minute, where do I live now? Who's my representative in Congress and in the state? It's a little confusing. So Thad asked me to air the interview again, and he's a public servant and a good one. And I said, of course, Thad, I will be more than happy to do that, and we will do that. Let's start our tour at 2.5 minutes after the valley. Once again, the Wenatchee Heights camera, which right now is pulled far back. It's zoomed way back. And so we have a huge swath in fact, I can see my house. Yeah, I can see my house. And I can see Cal's house and Tucker's house and Rachel's house and Alicia's house. That's pretty cool. I can see Uriah's house. I can see where Malcolm lives. Wow. I got to squint, but I can do it. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley on a drop-dead gorgeous July summertime morning. I love summertime. The living is easy. The fish are jumping. Cotton's high. You know it. Camera number 2. Let's visit the Omi Gardens camera. Flipped around, taking a look at the valley. Pretty much the same elevation as the cross camera, just on the other side of the valley. Traffic flowing smoothly on the Otobashian Bridge. They're going to be doing some inspection work on the Senator George Seller Bridge this weekend. Going to tie up traffic. We'll talk about that in sports. We're looking down over the Kai's Fiber area. Of course, they had that fire at Kai's Fiber last Friday, a week ago today. I don't know what the latest is with that. I'm pretty sure they're not working right now. It's hard to work when you got a big hole in your roof. Camera number 3. Of course, unless you're an astronomer, in which case having a hole in the roof would be normal. Good morning to Billy Goat. At the end of this program, we're going to show you a time lapse of sunrise from that very camera from about 2 hours ago. It's fantastic time-lapse footage. You don't want to miss that. We're going to show you that in about 55 minutes or so. Don't miss it. You're going to love it. Good morning to our friends at the Okanagan-Omak area and camera 4. Badger Mountain chimes in. Good morning to Badger Mountain. Zoomed way out. Huge swath of Wenatchee in view. You can see almost all the way to Monitor. In fact, on a clear day, you can see forever. And the wave and wheat, of course, can sure smell sweet when the wind comes right behind the rain. That's all I can say. After that, I would have to pay royalties to the estates of Rogers and Hammerstein. Don't want to do that. Did I mention it's going to be hot? Going to be hot. In the Tri-Cities and in Walla Walla, you're going to be about 107 and 108 by Thursday. We will certainly be in the triple digits. Even those places that are accustomed to cooler temps and cooler climes this time of the year is not going to be able to escape the heat. It's really going to start making its presence felt on Sunday here. The high temperature today and the high temperature tomorrow is going to be in the lower 90s. And then once this next ridge of high pressure, it's going to come down from the Gulf of Alaska, and it's going to be a dome not a flat ridge, but a dome, and it's going to stick around, folks. From the National Weather Service, this is not a misprint. Here we go. Again, 90 today after 96 yesterday. We have that weak marine layer coming in, so it's going to bring us some slightly cooler temperatures. It is going to be a little breezy at times today. Need to mention that. Saturday, pretty much the same deal, a little windy at times. Most of the wind on Saturday will be in the morning. By Saturday afternoon, we'll be done with it, and then we begin the cook-up. On Sunday to Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday to Thursday, we go up a couple of degrees each day. And by the way, the Climate Prediction Center says we are going to be really hot all the way into the first week in August. And by the way, on Monday, and I want to mention this for you folks up in the Okanagan Valley, there's going to be a push of northerly winds that are going to come down the Okanagan Valley. It's going to get channeled down through there. So Monday late afternoon up north, going to be a little windy. Not so much here in the Wenatchee Valley, but for you folks in the Omak, Okanagan, Riverside area, and maybe on into Pateros, you're going to be dealing with, unfortunately, some windy conditions on Monday. No red flag warning. It's not going to be windy enough down here anyway, but they could issue a red flag warning on Sunday for the possibility of some fire-related weather up north on Monday and Tuesday. I just wanted to plant that seed. It is a possibility. It's 6 minutes after the hour. After a break, we will have your Friday morning news. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
You've got a lot to do today. While you're out and about, remember to dispose of your unused medications safely and anonymously. It's a simple act that makes your home a safer place. Next time you're at the pharmacy, just place them in the drop box. To find a location, visit medproject.org.
Transform your windows with a variety of colors and styles like the Allure Transitional Window Covering by Lafayette Interior Fashions. Hi, this is Darren with Mini Blinds and More. We can install the latest and greatest in technology to open and close your blinds with only a touch of a button. From the largest windows in your home to room darkening shades for the bedroom. From stylish shades for your entertainment room to custom blinds for those hard-to-fit places. We have a solution for all of your window covering needs. We offer a variety of window coverings from Lafayette Interior Fashions. Call us today. We are Mini Blinds and More, your local blind store.
8 minutes after the hour, just a couple of high clouds, 72 degrees, right around 90 with some wind today. So it's going to be a good 7-8 degrees cooler than it has been the last couple of days. We'll be right around 90 on Saturday with a little wind. We start warming up on Sunday. The temperature will be rising. It won't be surprising we're going to have a heat wave next week. We'll start with this story. The man accused of starting that 3,000-acre fire up the Clockham area in the summer of 2020 has pled guilty to criminal charges in that case. He's received a 30-day sentence. 31-year-old Wade Ryan Hawkins currently lives in Moses Lake. Back in July of 2020, Hawkins was living on Clockham Road and intentionally set a small brush fire to distract sheriff's deputies who were seeking to contact him on a trespassing report. Well, the fire rapidly grew to about 3,000 acres. It forced numerous evacuations. On Wednesday, Hawkins pled guilty to a charge of reckless burning, plus charges on an unrelated case of possessing and trafficking in stolen property. He was already jailed for a month after his initial arrest. Hawkins must now serve a year on community supervision and pay about $1,600 in fines and restitution. The fire danger level in unincorporated areas of Chelan County was raised yesterday. It's now very high, and that brings with it numerous restrictions, as you might imagine. Chelan County said those restrictions include driving vehicles off county roadways, except under certain conditions. There's a ban on fireworks. There's a ban on the use of exploding targets and outdoor fires. To burn outdoors, people will need a written permit from the appropriate fire protection agency. A permit will not be needed for a permanent barbecue, a portable barbecue, an outdoor fireplace, or a grill on private residential property or on designated campsites. Nurses dismissed from Confluence Health for refusing to get a COVID-19 vaccination will soon find out if their lawsuit can go forward. The 92 former nursing staffers refused to comply with mandates from the state and their employer to be fully vaccinated by October of 2021. They sued, alleging the requirement is discriminatory and claiming without evidence that the vaccine poses a threat to their health. Lawyers for both sides sparred yesterday virtually in the courtroom of Douglas County Superior Court Judge Brian Huber.
We're not arguing that the plaintiffs did not have the right to decline being vaccinated. No one has ever said that. But as the U.S. Supreme Court noted in Jacobson, that right is not absolute, and it does not grant them any particular employment rights. For example, they couldn't bring a gun to work, but they have the right to bear arms. They couldn't smoke pot at work, but they have the right to legally use marijuana in this state. They wouldn't suggest for a moment that they have the right to take care of patients when intoxicated by alcohol, but they have the right to consume alcohol. In fact, there are a host of things that an individual can't do at work that the individual has the right to do on their own time. But that does not mean that their declining the vaccine gives them any claim for wrongful discharge in violation of public policy or modifies the employer's ability to discharge their at-will employment.
Once they reached a point where they had to make their own decision about whether or not or how to deal with how they accommodated these employees who had spent a year and a half working directly with COVID patients. Once they reached the point where they had to decide how they were going to handle the accommodation for those people, they had a choice to make. And that choice, and they knew it, was being made differently by other entities. And they actually told their employees that. Other entities, including healthcare entities in our own region, had decided to approach accommodation of these workers who were not going to get so-called vaccinated by basically applying the standards of which the Department of Health actually did mandate. And they did so, but Conference didn't want to do that.
Judge Huber now has to decide whether the case can go forward to trial or be dismissed. He said he will issue his written ruling in the not-too-distant future. Governor Jay Inslee said on Wednesday he expects that the COVID-19 vaccine requirements will stay in place for state workers, even if the overall state of pandemic emergency comes to an end. Inslee said the vaccine mandate for workers, including state patrol, transportation staff, and healthcare providers, are meant to keep state employees safe and healthy.
As an employer, we do intend to keep our people safe by using the vaccine even after the state of emergency is lifted. So that would be our intention. I know there will be discussions with the employee unions about that in the next several weeks. We think that makes sense to save people. It's just such a heartbreak when you lose a good state employee. As I've told you many times, the heartbreak I had when I went to a funeral of a correctional officer who didn't get vaccinated and left a 9-year-old daughter, and listening to her talk, I just felt it was the right thing as a manager to keep a safe workplace and keep people safe. So that will be retained after the declaration of emergency leaves, and we have the authority to do that as the employer. We're just an employer like anyone else, and we have the legal right to do that, which, by the way, are legal rights which have been challenged. We've been told we're unconstitutional 1,000 times by certain people on radio, and we've won 42 lawsuits in a row on this, on the actions we have taken. I'm confident that this is within our authority.
The historic barn up there on the Horse Lake Reserve was dismantled this week. The materials are going to be destined for another old barn reconstruction project near Monitor. The Chelan Douglas Land Trust said Burt's Barn, which was built sometime in the early 1950s, had become a fire hazard, and people were frequently ignoring the no trespassing signs, and they were risking being harmed by falling timbers or a wall. It was falling down. In addition, the Land Trust said power lines above the barn was also a fire concern. The barn being reconstructed near Monitor was relocated 3 years ago from the Land Trust's Lower Sleepy Hollow Preserve. And finally, and I mentioned this at the top of the show, drivers can expect some delays and certainly slower traffic this weekend on the Senator George Seller Bridge. The Washington State Department of Transportation says they're going to be using an under-bridge inspection truck on Saturday. They're going to be working on the westbound side early and then the eastbound side in the afternoon. That's on Saturday. And then on Sunday, sidewalk inspections are expected to cause delays on Sunday morning, which is good because that's when the traffic is pretty much the lightest. And that is what's making news a quarter after the hour. Grant continues his mini vacation. Jefferson Robbins will be occupying this very chair at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock tonight, anchoring the evening news with a preview. Here's Eric Grandstrom.
Well, good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, I will not be wearing this because Jefferson Robbins will don the jacket. He'll be sitting in the news chair. He'll have an update on officer recruitment with the Wenatchee Police Department. He'll have a hot weather forecast, and I'll have a preview of the weekend of sports, including the Mariners giving chase of Houston and some franchise history. That's all coming up with the day's news at 5, 6, and 10 o'clock on the NCW Life Evening News. Hope to see you then. Dan, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. Chime in. We'd love to hear from you. We really do. This is as much your station as it is ours. Bottom of your screen. Take a look at it. Go to our Facebook page or drop us a note on the Messenger app. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, or you can get a hold of us via our website. After a break, the Mariners begin their second-half campaign tonight against the team they're chasing. The Houston Astros and the Apple Sox are their hottest team in the West Coast League. Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
The Clearwater Saloon and Casino has the best Vegas-style games in East Wenatchee. Come enjoy yourself and discover the nightly action. Win big and meet new friends at the Clearwater Saloon and Casino.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high-energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
18 minutes after the hour, the Mariners and the Astros, the first of a 3-game series tonight at T-Mobile Park as the Major League Baseball season's second half is now underway. Seattle will try to match a franchise record with its 15th straight win if they can pull it off tonight. Jose Urquidy is on the mound for the Astros. Marco Gonzalez will toe the rubber for the Mariners. First pitch 7:10. The game is sold out. You can watch it on Root Sports Northwest. Mariners got some great news yesterday from General Manager Jerry DiPoto. Kyle Lewis expected to be back on the roster tonight after suffering a concussion. That was back in May. And in addition, Mitch Haniger beginning his rehab assignment this weekend in Everett. He'll hopefully rejoin the club in a couple of weeks. Seattle's win streak before the All-Star break has put them into second place in the American League West. They're actually 10 games behind Houston, by the way. That's a misprint. Houston swept a doubleheader from my Yankees yesterday, so they actually have a 10-game lead. Texas is 17.5 games back. The Angels are 20.5 back. LA begins the second half in Atlanta this weekend. The A's are hosting the Rangers. The Apple Sox sweep Kamloops. They completed it 6-5 last night. Enzo Apodaca came up with a big hit of the ball game. Joel Norman tells us it was the closest of the 3 games against Kamloops.
The Apple Sox picked up their third series sweep of the season with a 6-5 win over the Kamloops Northpaws on Thursday night at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. It was a tie ball game going into the bottom of the 6th inning after the leadoff batter Matt Hallback reached on an error. Back-to-back outs recorded, but then Enzo Apodaca in his second year with the Apple Sox picked up a big hit, driving in the go-ahead run with a first pitch single to right field to help Wenatchee gain the 1-run lead, and that was all they needed. Evan Canfield came on in relief in the top of that 6th inning, and he would toss 3 2/3 scoreless innings of relief to pick up his 3rd win of the season. Canfield has been a brilliant option for the Apple Sox out of the bullpen, and the Apple Sox pick up another sweep, their 3rd of the year. All 3 of them have been against expansion teams. Wenatchee has played 12 games against teams who are in their first season in the West Coast League, and they've only lost 1 of them so far. They'll face a longtime WCL opponent this weekend, the Walla Walla Sweets, as the Apple Sox are on the road for the first time in 2 weeks, as they will be at Borleski Stadium beginning on Friday night at 7:05 p.m. With your Apple Sox update, I'm Joel Norman.
Thank you, Joel. Prior to the game, Joichiro Oyama was announced as the fourth recipient of the Tommy Watanabe Award. The award was created in 2019 to honor former Apple Sox player Tommy Watanabe, who passed away during the season back in 2017. Oyama joins Michael O'Hara, Johnny Sage, and Jacob Prater as the winner of the award. Oyama is second on the team in batting. He's hitting .341. He's written his name in the team's record books. He has 30 stolen bases this year. That breaks a record that was set back in 2003. In fact, those 30 stolen bases is also the single season mark for the entire West Coast League. All right, to the Les Schwab scoreboard we go. From last night, Kelowna's Jasper Nelson and two relievers combined in a 5-hit shutout of Edmonton. They win 2-0. Cooper Cross had 2 hits to drive in 2 runs to help Walla Walla edge Springfield 4-3. Kiko Romero hit a 2-out walk-off home run for Corvallis to give the Knights a 7-6 win over Cowlitz. Elijah Hainline and Jace Phelan each hit home runs for Bellingham. The Bells beat Victoria 16-6. Bo Sylvester and Wilson Weber hit back-to-back home runs in a 3-run first inning, Bend beating Ridgefield 5-3. Redmond broke a 3-all tie in the top of the ninth with 3 runs to complete the 3-game non-league sweep at Port Angeles, and Yakima Valley grabbed an early lead and held on to beat the Cascade Collegiate League Showcase team 6-3. So the standings looks pretty good. With the Apple Sox sweep, they now have a 2-game lead over Kelowna in the second half of the North Division. Kelowna, Victoria, Bellingham are all 500, 2 games back heading into the weekend. Portland is the hottest team of the West Coast League South Division so far. They're 11-2. They're 2 games up on Corvallis and Yakima Valley. Walla Walla, a town so nice they named it twice, is off to a 6-6 record in the second half, 4.5 games behind the Pickles. And in case you didn't hear, it's going to be hot this weekend, so you can cool off and watch some cool boats at the same time. Entiat will be the site for the Vintage Race Boat Regatta tomorrow and Sunday. Piston-powered boats of all shapes and sizes going to hit the water. They're going to race side by side beginning at 10 a.m. on Saturday and on Sunday. Entiat Park, home base for the event. And the course will be out on the Columbia River or Lake Entiat or whatever the heck you want to call it. Sounds like fun to me. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Friday, the 22nd day of July. Is there a better summertime holiday than National Hammock Day? I wish I still had my hammock. I bought a hammock when I was on vacation in Mexico in the early 90s, had it shipped up, built a hammock rack for me in my backyard. I loved it. I would sit in that backyard and listen to jazz music and read books. I don't have the hammock anymore. I wish I did. The hammock was, of course, developed in Central and South America around 500 AD by the natives. They used it for sleeping or resting. You take a hammock and you string it between 2 poles or 2 trees and you're good to go. It was usually strung between 2 hammock trees. That's the name, the hammock. The game changer for the hammock was our good buddy Christopher Columbus, who in 1492 in the Bahamas noticed that the natives liked to sleep in a hammock strung between 2 trees. And he brought the idea and a couple of hammocks back with him to Europe. And it really helped the sailors because, you know, when you're sailing on the open sea and you're bobbing and weaving and back and forth, the sailors used to have to sleep either in beds or literally on the dirt floor of the ship. With a hammock, you string a hammock up and you sway with the tides and the up and down of the boat. It made it much more comfortable for the sailors to sleep. And now, of course, the hammock is a perfect symbol of leisure and laziness. National Hammock Day. Celebrated. I wish I still had mine. Oh, well. Regrets. But I had one, so, you know, there's that. 24 minutes after the hour today in history, July the 22nd, 1787, 435 years ago, the second group of English settlers arrive in Roanoke Island off the coast of North Carolina. The first colony, of course, was established in 1585, 2 years earlier, but they, number one, didn't have enough supplies, and number two, they didn't get along with the natives in 1585, and so the next year, in 1586, they sailed back to England and said this isn't going to work. The second colony arrived the next year on this date in 1587. It would become known as the Lost Colony because 3 years later, in 1590, a supply ship arrived to see how the second colony was doing in Roanoke Island, and they didn't find anybody. All 121 of them gone. The settlement was still there. The homes were still there that they built, but the 121 folks who landed in 1787, they simply were gone, and nobody knows what happened to them. There's all kinds of theories, some more plausible than others, but they simply disappeared. They became known as the Lost Colony. They landed on this date in 1587. What happened to them? Nobody knows. July the 22nd, 1793, 229 years ago, and 12 years before Lewis and Clark crossed the continent, a guy by the name of Alexander Mackenzie beat him to it. He arrived at the Pacific Ocean, becoming the first recorded human being to cross all the way across North America. 12 years before Lewis and Clark, he began and made it all the way to British Columbia and made it to the Pacific Ocean and carved that in the rock on the 22nd day of July, 1793. A remarkable feat indeed. And one of the strangest and most amazing baseball games of the 1980s. Stay with me here before we roll footage. Let me set you up what happened here. It's the Mets and the Reds at Riverfront Stadium 36 years ago today. Nothing much was going on, just a regular baseball game until the fifth inning. That's when Mets right fielder Darryl Strawberry was ejected for arguing balls and strikes. He can't do that. It's an automatic ejection. So Darryl Strawberry is out. Utility outfielder Kevin Mitchell comes in to replace Darryl Strawberry. That was in the fifth inning. In the seventh inning, the utility infielder for the Mets, Tim Teufel, replaced second baseman Wally Bachman. In the eighth inning, the utility outfielder Mookie Wilson pinch hits and comes into the game. And then in the ninth inning, Howard Johnson of the Mets pinch hits for Rafael Santana and moves into shortstop. So as we go to the 10th inning, the Mets have both the utility infielders and their one and only utility outfielder in the game. And then in the top of the 10th inning with Eric Davis on base for the Reds, watch what happens.
Mets had a chance to go out in front in the top of this 10th inning. Couldn't do it. A hit now would win it for the home team. Here comes Davis to third. The throw, he's safe. And now look at this. Davis and Ray Knight. I'll tell you one thing, you're barking up the wrong tree when you go after Ray Knight, but look at Eric Davis. He still wants a piece of the Mets third baseman.
And Bruce Kim is right there to try and stop Eric Davis. Boy, they're still going at it.
That's Kevin Mitchell at the bottom of that
John
pile.
Denny's right on top of him.
And there's another guy you don't want to fool around with.
Denny is a karate expert. Boy, he is really. There's Bill Gullickson.
Gary Carter trying to calm Denny down. It all started when there was contact between Ray Knight and Eric Davis. Eric trying to stay on the base.
Look at the area around third base. It looks like a hockey match, like they dropped their gloves. Everybody dropped their hats and their gloves and just went at it. And there you see it. It looks like we're on the ice.
And look, you got a quick shot of Eric Davis and Tommy Helms. And Tommy, a pretty good battler in his day, has Davis completely removed from the scene of the action. Watch Davis. Here's where it started. He breaks for third. He easily beats the throw by Gary Carter. Now watch the contact.
The elbow, the shove from Knight, and here comes the right cross.
Bingo. That was a direct hit.
And Knight's getting rid of the glove, the baseball, and he wants that Eric Davis. Meantime, there comes Eddie Milner. And finally, Gary Carter gives it to Eric Davis for the tumble. And everybody comes piling out of the Reds dugout.
Steve, I believe you're right. Eric Davis has been pitched out, and Ray Knight is slowly going back to the dugout. He has also been thrown out. Well, I'll tell you what, there wasn't any fooling around in this one. Many times you see baseball fights where they're all just standing out there and squaring off with an imaginary line in the middle, but not this time.
So for the Mets, Ray Knight and Kevin Mitchell are ejected. Eric Davis, as you just saw, was ejected. Apparently, he was thrown out of the game for hitting Ray Knight's right fist with his chin. And Mario Soto were ejected. Davey Johnson of the Mets, you have a 25-man active roster for any one game. Davey Johnson of the Mets now has a problem. He's out of players. So he has no choice. He takes catcher Gary Carter and he moves him to third base. Gary Carter had never played third base in his life. He brings in Roger McDowell to pitch. He's a starting pitcher. And Jesse Orozco, who was pitching, moves to the outfield. And for the rest of the game, depending on whether Cincinnati brought up a right-handed hitter or a left-handed hitter, either Jesse Orozco or Roger McDowell would pitch and the other one would go out to the outfield. Because of the 25-man active roster, he only had 2 players left, both pitchers who were needed to play for the next game. By the way, the Mets won in the 14th inning, 6-3. One of the few times he just ran out of play. I got nobody left. Anyway, crazy game. Let's do some birthdays. The matriarch of the Kennedy family, Rose Kennedy, born in the state in 1890, lived to the age of 104. The mother of a president and the mother of 2 senators. That's pretty impressive. She outlived 4 of her 9 children. The mother of John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert Kennedy, Senator Ted Kennedy, Rose Kennedy, born in the state in 1890. Bob Dole, we lost Bob Dole back in December at the age of 98. An American war hero, congressman from Kansas, senator from Kansas, vice presidential nominee in 1976, presidential nominee in 1996, the great Bob Dole. Born 99 years ago today. We lost Alex Trebek a couple of years ago at the age of 80, host of Jeopardy from 1984 until his death. We miss Alex Trebek. To me, Jeopardy just hasn't been the same. He was born in the state 82 years ago today. Danny Glover. You remember back in the early 1990s, Danny Glover was the Grand Marshal of the Washington State Apple Blossom Parade. You remember that? Yeah. Danny Glover, of course, from the Lethal Weapons films. He was the President of the United States. In the show 2012, movie 2012, Danny Glover is 76. Don Henley, drummer for the Eagles and had the best of all their solo careers when he was still a solo artist back in the 80s and 90s. Don Henley in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's 75 years old today. And the man who will be king. Prince George is 9 years old today. His official title is Prince George of Cambridge. He, of course, is the oldest child of Prince William and Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge. So he's third in line to the British throne after his grandfather Charles and his dad, Bill. Prince George will eventually get the gig. He's just going to have to be waiting. He's 9 years old today. Going to take a break. Got an opinion from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty. Is prejudice a good thing? Mike will talk about that, and then we're going to replay the interview I did with Douglas County Auditor Thad Duvall. There's some important information for you registered voters in Douglas County that you need to know about the August 2nd primary. Thad will give you those details when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Anchi Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Getting ready for the boating season is easy with the help of Bob File Boats and Motors. Now's the time of year to upgrade your boat from a new motor, a bow mount, installing a state-of-the-art GPS fish finder, or just fixing your trailer lights. Make your appointment today. With marine technology changing fast, the service department stays up to date with the newest developments and factory certifications. Spend more time on the water and less time at the shore. Get ready for summer fun now at Bob File Boats and Motors.
Collins Fashions is pleased to announce a fabulous Joseph Ribkoff trunk show for this fall, Wednesday, July 20th from 12 to 5 p.m. Many beautiful fashions and basics for your special order. We are giving 15% off our in-store Joseph and your special order arriving in a couple of months. We will have models showcasing your favorite styles and refreshments will be served. Enter to win a Collins gift card. Such a fun afternoon. Wednesday, July 20th, 12 to 5 at Collins, where fun meets fashion.
The new Hummer EV is everything you want in an all-electric vehicle. It's powerful, reliable, comfortable, and will take you anywhere you want to go, on-road or off. Why buy one of those lesser EVs when you can have one that uses them for traction? Order your Hummer pickup or SUV today from Sangster Motors, batteries included.
Clickin' RV Moses Lake expansion sale has been extended July 21st to the 25th. Clickin' RV Moses Lake has expanded over 13 acres, which means you'll have the most and best floor plans and layouts for every lifestyle. And your new RV comes with a lifetime warranty. Manufacturers are coming from across the country, and there'll be banks on site with zero debt and zero payments for 90 days. And check this out, you can win a beautiful Sunray camper trailer at the sale. Extended 5 days only, so hurry into Clickin' RV's extended Moses Lake RV expansion sale, July 21st to the 25th.
Is your recliner as comfortable as this? Does it have lumbar support? The new technology in power recliners is simply amazing.
Hi, can I help you?
Well, yes, I was just telling my friends.
Oh, about the great selection of recliners we have here at Boswell's? It's true. We have everything from pushback recliners to power recliners with all the latest features.
Boswell's Furniture on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
Brian's Pizza and Bowling is changing their name to That Pizza Place. Now there's still your same favorite locally owned family pizza and bowling center, That Pizza Place. Come hang out in downtown Cashmere.
The NCW Life Channel offers marketing packages that help you build your brand and sell your products and services. From traditional TV ads to targeted digital campaigns, let us help you build your customer base. Call NCW Life Channel today.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, a definition of prejudice is a feeling towards a person based on their perceived group membership. Prejudice is often used to refer to preconceived, usually unfavorable evaluations of another person based on that person's political affiliation, sex, gender, race, etc. So, is being prejudiced okay? I don't know! Well, it seems like it. I'm seeing people, as you are, who are actively accusing others and actively condemning others for being prejudiced, while they're actively practicing prejudice themselves against the people who they claim are prejudiced. Now, you can dislike me because you don't like my opinions, and you can dislike me for a lot of other reasons. Is it then okay to categorize others and dislike them just because, like me, they are white male Christians? Well, it must be okay because people do it all the time. This is Mike Mad Dog McNally.
How so? You're going to jail.
And that's my opinion.
With all the variety on SureStream TV from Localtel, there's always something to watch. But what if you hit the couch in the middle of all the shows? That's a perfect time to use the features Catch Up or Restart. Catch up on shows from up to 3 days ago, or restart your show from the beginning. Go to your guide and select the show to restart. Then play, pause, rewind on your schedule. Don't forget, SureStream TV from LocalTel lets you decide when shows begin.
Let Mary Maid's custom cleaning experts help you clean up your to-do list. Between work, kids, and pets, it's hard to find time to keep up. Let Mary Maids of Wenatchee help. Mary Maid's cleaning experts can help keep your home or business fresh, neat, and exactly how you'd clean it if you only had the time. Call now for a free estimate, 509-663-1710. Serving Chelan and Douglas counties. Mary Maids, let us help.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled out the new line of custom e-bikes. They have three-way adjustable folding e-bikes and full-size mountain e-bikes. Pedal assist and a throttle makes them a perfect fit for any rider. Green Motion e-bikes, located in the Mills Brothers building.
It has really been a great partnership between Succession and NCW Life. It's not always easy to sit in front of a camera or a microphone, but you guys have made it a really nice process.
I have a hereditary bone disease from the female side of my family. My bone loss was so significant that you could almost see the roots. I became embarrassed and I started covering my mouth. Eating became very difficult as far as I stopped eating apples, corn on the cob, things that you just eat as it is without utensils. Dr. Divis was my dentist prior to having implants. We talked about traditional dentures or implants, and implants was the only way really that I could go. John Divis and all of his office staff, they checked on me throughout all the processes. I would never go anyplace else. Today I can eat corn on the cob, I can have apples. Thanks to Dr. John Divis and his staff, I have my smile back. I feel more confident. I am me again.
This is John Divis. Let our team help you solve your dental needs.
The road can be a crazy place. Uh-oh! That's why Let's Drop Tires fixes brakes, steering, and more. And those guys don't. Keep driving. I'm just glad Let's Drop puts my safety first, so I can backseat drive with confidence.
Help maximize your mileage with a free safety check. Just swing by. Les Schwab Tires, celebrating 70 years of doing the right thing.
D&L Army Surplus in Wenatchee is stocked with items for the whole family. From ammo to collectibles and so much more. D&L Army Surplus, your one-stop shop for military surplus, survival, camping, and tactical gear. Bring the whole family and stop on by today.
Connect with us on Networked as we introduce you to the people and organizations who are leading innovation in the region. Get inspired, engaged, and networked right here on the NCW Life channel.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. The first Tuesday after the first Monday in August can't come any sooner than it will be. Primary Election Day is August 2nd. You should have your ballots by now. If you don't, get a hold of Skip in Chelan County or Thad in Douglas County, and they'll look into it. They're good at what they do. Here to talk about the Douglas County ballot is our good friend who took some time out before he headed on up to Waterville, the gateway to Farmer. It's our good friend, Thad Duvall. Welcome to the program, Thad.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
It's good to see you. The ballots are out. This is a sample ballot, which, by the way, you can print up and look at if you want to, if you go to Thad's website. The ballots are out. There are some things that people need to know that are different from last year or even 2 years ago on the last even-yeared election. I'll let you start with that. There's some things that people are going to look at their ballot and they're going to wonder what's going on here.
Well, yes, I'd like to explain to everyone that because of redistricting, which is due to the census every 10 years, that Douglas County has been split both congressionally and legislatively. So that means that most of Douglas County is now in the 4th congressional district, except for a small area out by the Otabashan Bridge, which is in the 8th, which is less than like 1,000 people or so. So it's just a small pocket up there. It's a strange way to do it. But in any case, then in the legislative district, from about 23rd Street on down most of East Wenatchee and just the Canyon Hills area, not even Fancher Heights, is in the 12th. And then all the rest of Douglas County is in the 7th. That's probably going to be the biggest change, is the people who think they're in the 12th or they're in the 7th legislative district. So when they open up their ballot, they're going to see different candidates from the 7th instead of the 12th, if that's where they live. That might be surprising to people, so we want to get the word out so that they're not surprised by what's on their ballot.
There is one issue that both voters in Chelan and Douglas County will be voting on that is going to be decided in this August primary, and that's the idea that's been floated, the consolidating the 2 fire districts, yes, Douglas and Chelan. And if that is approved, that comes into effect like the end of September. It's like it's going to happen. That is a final decision. This decision will be made on Tuesday, the 2nd.
Yes. The Regional Fire Authority is a simple majority vote between the 2 counties, and each county will tally up their votes and add them together, and we'll see the result.
And if it is approved, it goes into effect on September 30th of this year. So it's going to be fast-tracked. A few changes have been made to... I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this. If you're 17 and going to be 18 by the time the general... You explain it, Thad. Okay. You can do it better than I can.
Well, for several years, if you're 17 and going to be 18 by the time of the general election, you could register and then vote in the general election. The big change this year has been a new law was passed which allows 17-year-olds to vote in the primary election when they're 17. And that, according to our Constitution, you have to be 18 to vote. So the reasoning that the legislature used to pass this law is that if you allow a 17-year-old to vote on issues where they're not making the final decision, then they're allowing them to vote. So what that means is they can vote on primary races where there's more than 2 candidates, or they can vote on any of the primary races that are on there, because in the primary election, we're not making a final decision. What that means to us administratively is we have to create a different ballot for the 17-year-olds because they can't vote on measures or issues that are with the final decision. So, for example, the Regional Fire Authority issue where Chelan and Douglas County are trying to combine, that would not be on the 17-year-olds ballot. So administratively, we have to create a different ballot for them. And so it is kind of challenging. And it's kind of interesting, this could be a constitutional issue. I don't know if somebody will sue, because when you say they're not making a final decision, explain that to the 3rd candidate in the race that gets excluded after the primary election. So it remains to be seen. It's a new law. It's difficult administratively. I would like everyone to vote that can legally vote. So we're going to help the 17-year-olds vote, and that's the law.
There's also a significant difference between partisan offices and non-partisan offices. Some of them are going to be on your ballot and some aren't, and even though both of them are pretty much punch their ticket to the general election anyway. That could be a head-scratcher for some folks.
It could be. On the partisan offices, they are on the primary election ballot, even if there's no opposition or even if there's just 2 candidates. If it's a nonpartisan office, according to the law, then they go straight to the general election if there's 2 or less candidates. So in Douglas County, what that means is the race for the port, there are only 2 candidates. It's nonpartisan. You will not see them on the primary election. They will go straight to the general election.
It's a little confusing, but if you do your homework, you'll do just fine. You'll be all right. We always ask that about turnout predictions. You're pretty good at it. Your batting average is pretty high, Thad. I'll crunch you the numbers. The 2020 primary, we'll go ahead and go to the one from 2 years ago. Granted that we had a gubernatorial race. We had, even though the presidential, we had caucuses and primaries that weren't on the ballot, we had the gubernatorial race. We had contested commissioner races and other things like that. 2020 primary, 23,930 registered voters, 13,828 actually voted in the primary of August of 2 years ago. That was a 58% turnout. right around that mark. There were more decisions to be made 2 years ago than there is this year.
Well, there was a lot of political activity 2 years ago, that's for sure. But we're still seeing a lot of interest in elections, and so I'm hoping that we'll get a 60% turnout. We'll shoot for that. How's that? We just want everybody to vote and participate in our democratic process. And when you express yourself that way, I think that you can feel good about being part of that process and not only making decisions, in Washington, D.C. or statewide, but also locally, like the Regional Fire Authority. That affects you right here locally. So please vote.
I've talked to your counterpart, Skip, and I'll ask you the same question. There are a sizable number of people who are eligible to vote who simply don't vote. They're not registered. Yeah. They don't participate at all. And I know you guys try to get the word out. You can vote. You don't have a felony conviction. You're over the age of 18. You can do it, and they choose not to. How do you account for that?
Well, it is discouraging, admittedly. But everybody has their freedom of choice, and so I guess some people choose not to be engaged in the process. And I think part of it is they're disengaged and they don't think that their vote will make a difference. But we've seen a lot of close races, at the presidential level, at the state level, and at the local levels. I've had 2 tight elections in my career that we actually ended up having to flip a coin. So your vote does make a difference, and so I'd encourage everybody not to just to hang back, but move ahead and vote.
Last week, the Wisconsin State Supreme Court voted 4-3 to pretty much 86 drop boxes. They said we're done with them. We're not going to use them anymore. And they also, for people who vote absentee, they're not allowed to have somebody else drop off their absentee ballot in either a drop box or at their county clerk's office. Your thoughts on that? It seems odd to me.
Yeah, I don't believe that we should curtail the use of our drop boxes, especially since we've learned from the post office that their delivery times have been extended. It takes longer for the mail to travel back and forth nowadays. And so really, when you get within that last week before the election, to me, the fail-safe is use the drop box. And we tell people that all the time. So don't use the mail when you get that close to the election. So in my opinion, those drop boxes need to be there and be available. So in Douglas County, we've got a drop box in every city in Douglas County, and we've had that for many years, and it works well for us.
In fact, more and more people are using that than ever before. You mentioned that. You and Skip both mentioned that, especially in the 2020 election. Mm-hmm. A lot of drop boxes, and they're completely secure, completely safe. They're not. They're the way to go.
Yeah, we pick up those drop boxes in teams of 2 people. They've got badges on, and they're recognizable, and they seal the boxes once they pull the ballots out, and they take them up to the courthouse in Waterville sealed, and then we unseal them and process the ballots. So you can be assured that we have a good process here in Douglas County, and it works for everyone.
The election season is as long as it can be as the calendar is concerned. As I mentioned at the start of this interview, the primary election day is the first Tuesday after the first Monday in August, and it's the second. It's as early as it can be. Yeah. But the general election day is as late as it can be. It's November 8th. Does that present some logistical problems for you guys, having a longer than normal period between the primary and the general, or is it just business as usual?
No, that's actually better for us because there's a lot that goes into mocking up the ballot and getting everything ready in your voter registration rolls between the August primary and the general. What people don't generally understand is when we go into election mode, we lock down our systems, and then we don't make any changes until the election's over. So that means we've got pending work that piles up during the August primary, and we have to hurry up and get that done before the general election in terms of the voter registrations and things like that. So yeah, the longer we have, the better off we are to get all that work done, and because we now have to not only do the ballot mock-up, but we do voters pamphlets for everybody too that we mail out. So there's a lot of work that has to be done between the primary and the general.
I'll let Thad take it home for you Douglas County voters out there. There are some deadlines you need to know about if you want to register, you want to be involved in the process. Some key dates that the voters in Douglas County need to know, Thad, before we send you on your way.
Well, the last date to register online or by mail is July 25th. And then after that, you need to register in person at the auditor's office. But you can register right up, including Election Day, 8 p.m., and receive a ballot. So that's the fail-safe there, is if you miss those other deadlines, you can go register in person, obtain a ballot, and vote.
And don't forget, once you've mailed in your ballot, give them a few days, and then you can go online, and they'll say, we got your ballot, and we got it. Thank you very much. It's very simple. You can go online and just make sure that your ballot is in Thad's office.
That's correct.
Anything else on your mind before we cut you loose?
Nope.
All right.
Just the slogan. Your voice is your vote.
There
Exercise
you go.
it.
Thad Duvall, the auditor of Douglas County. Have a pleasant and safe trip up to Waterville, the gateway to Farmer. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Thank you, Dan.
It has really been a great partnership between Succession and NCW Life. It's not always easy to sit in front of a camera or a microphone, but you guys have made it a really nice process.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And what would it be like? With today's home values, this is the perfect time to sell and make those dreams real. When you work with a world-class agent at Coldwell Banker, you benefit from trusted guidance and our revolutionary seller's assurance program to make your home sale more rewarding than ever. So it really is true. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams.
Bob's Burgers and Brews in East Wenatchee. Come enjoy great food, great service, and a great time. Only the best for our guests. We look forward to serving you. Stop on by today.
Weekend's almost here. It is 73 degrees here in the big city. Wind out of the west-northwest is 16 miles an hour. Going to be windy today, windy tonight, a little bit on Sunday. Fairly moderate temperatures. Elsewhere around the valley and in north central Washington, Ephrata 75, Moses Lake 72. Chelan gets the warm spot. It's 75 at beautiful Lake Chelan, but again, just a little on the breezy side. Forecast details are coming up. First things first, though, our good friend and our top content producer, Uriah, put together this time-lapse footage from Billy Goat looking out over Okanagan County, Brewster, Pateros, Bridgeport, what have you. Check this out. Great stuff. Really cool stuff. That was just about sunrise this morning, right around 5:30 or so. Good stuff from Uriah. All right, as we mentioned, it's going to get a little warm. We're going to have a couple of days of not too bad, and then whoom, Mother Nature's going to turn up the thermostat. Here we go from the National Weather Service. A lot of sunshine today, but it's, again, a little breezy. Sustained winds right around 15 miles an hour. The occasional gust above 20 at times. We'll get up to 90 after our 96-degree high of yesterday. 61 for the overnight low tonight. Again, a little breezy. There's a weak upper-level disturbance that's kind of sliding over the top of the high pressure, and that's why we're going to have a little wind. The gradients are going to tighten up a little bit, and we'll be a little bit cooler today and tomorrow. That's going to change on Sunday. Here we go. 96 with our high on Sunday. Some locations will be close to 100. And then here we go. Triple digits Monday, triple digits Tuesday, 104 Wednesday, 107 on Thursday. Overnight lows in the mid-70s. And the Climate Prediction Center says this heat wave will continue right on into August. We're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. And I got a weekend. I hope you have a great weekend. Have a good one. We will see you Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.